Hi, everybody. Can we stand for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. It's got that volume go down. I'm going to turn it down. Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to tonight's meeting. Is there anyone here for public participation? Anyone here for public participation? Hearing none, we will move forward. I don't have anything for the report of the chair. We'll move to the consent agenda. Is there any comments from any board members about the minutes at all? No? Okay. B, approval of the wire and warrant. Any questions for Joe or Ron about the warrant or the wire transfer that was in our packets? No? Okay, then can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented? Dennis, second. Jerry, thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye, unanimous. Thank you very much. We'll move on to the reports of the committee, starting with our student representatives. Here they are. The floor is yours. Thank you very much.
Good evening, Board of Ed. We hope you are having a terrific Tuesday. On a less terrific note, we started midterms on Friday and are finishing them off this week. Luckily, we're halfway through, and then it's on to the second semester. Seniors are getting ready for the big event, the prom fashion show. Models have been picked, and the preparations have begun.
In sports, last Wednesday, Gross Basketball won against Amistad Academy with a score of 43-28. And Thursday, Massac Boys Swimming defeated New Milford 91-75. And yesterday, Boys Hockey won their game 5-1 against Northeastern, and senior Drew Scalia scored his 100th career goal as a Massac player.
Oh, very nice.
Thank you.
Very nice. Thank you very much. Do any board members have any updates on committees? Of course. Hearing none, we'll move to the report of the superintendent. Joe.
And I'm just going to turn it over to Ron for the review of the December fund activity statement and the budget transfers.
Just one note, the Board of Finance meeting for this week did get pushed to next week. So nothing really new from last month regarding the fund activity statement. Some of the budget transfers have been posted. Right now we're tracking okay. Winter seems to be cooperating with us right now. Mm-hmm. I don't know if anyone has any specific questions regarding anything. The other thing I do want to mention, the budget transfer, which I'll be discussing, well, I'll just kind of move into that now. The first three object codes, that's what that budget transfer addresses, and those are the three object codes that capture the administrator salaries. And that's just to do a little truing up based on staff movement since the budget was prepared. So that's pretty much it.
Any questions at all for Ron? They're pretty simple on their face, right? They were in our packets, so. Okay, Joe, anything else?
Nope. I figured save some time for the budget presentation. If anyone had any questions on budget.
Yep. We're going to move on to unfinished business follow-up. Any questions? It's first on our list. The budget is under new business, but is there anything any board members would like to ask Joe or staff of before we get into it under a motion under new business? No? Okay. Joe, you or staff want to make any comments, or?
I just first of all, I want to thank all of the staff. I know I started by thanking them in the beginning, but like I said, this process starts in mid-October. They meet with a number of people before meeting with me, and it's as Ron always says, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. We know that this is the first leg of the journey, but I definitely want to thank all of them, and I want to thank all of you as well for serving as liaisons to each of the different departments. That's that's something we started a couple of years ago that I think has been very helpful. It's been helpful for us to have that insight of each of you, meeting with them, and I think it also helps support the work that's being done here. And I know that each of the administrators echoes that and feels very supported by all of your work with them in their areas. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Joe. I found it very rewarding to meet with a different department every year and learn more and more about the district and the justifications for the budget and the scrutiny that we have to put on it, especially with increases. It really helps to be able to explain it to the other boards and commissions as the process moves forward. So thank all of you for that time too that you put into meeting with us. So we appreciate it. Okay, with that, we're going to move into new business, which number one is the adoption of the 2023-2024 Board of Education budget. Before we get into that, can I have a motion?
You can. I would like to make a motion to adopt the 2023-24 Board of Education budget in the amount of $68,158,424, with the understanding that all available grant funds / ESSER funds will be applied to reduce this operating amount, and the capital expenditures will be reprioritized for further consideration after completion of the facilities study.
Can I have a second, please? Alan? Thank you very much. I will start the discussion just to briefly say, again, all of us appreciate your time meeting with all the department heads to look at your individual budgets and then to be able to come to the board as your representatives and explain your needs to the board. We've looked at the increases. There's not too much room in the overall budget for us to look at because we understand all of the contractual obligations. This board budget does support the great education that our kids are getting, and to continue that, we feel that this is necessary. It also addresses the growing enrollment and increased spec ed needs, which keeps going up every year, and we acknowledge the needs are increasing more and more. This is the highest I've ever seen it in my years being on the board. The other thing is, as Christine said in her motion, we are going to apply the remaining federal grants, the ARP and ARP ESSER grants, as we promised last year, to get this number down. So this number will be brought down once Ron is able to get those final numbers on what we have remaining in the grant funds, and to work with the First Selectman and the Board of Finance to get that final number. So this number we expect to come down. And also looking at the capital projects, we know how important all of these are. With the pending facilities study, we're going to look at reprioritizing some of these. I'll ask Joe to have a meeting with Dan and look at those and just see, what do we really need to do next year, and what could we potentially hold off for to also save the town some money with capital expenditures. So I think with all of that, with the grant that Paul got for IT, it helps lessen the burden on the taxpayers, which we're all looking to balance that out in our role on the board. So with that, Alan, any comments at all?
Just that, I appreciate the hard work that Joe and his team put into this. I seen the cars late at night and on the weekends in the parking lot, and I just know there was a lot of thought put into this budget. I just want to I just want to keep the good work going. We have 3 elementary schools acknowledged as schools of distinction, and that's awesome. Want to keep that going. The only thing I think we need to keep an eye on is the preschool numbers, which are hard to predict. But it sounds like there's a plan in place. You're keeping an eye on it, and keep up the good work.
Thanks, Al.
Any comments from any other board members? Dennis?
Yeah, I'd like to add to that. Really, not only the 3 schools of distinction, but the amount of teamwork is evident. You work across schools, across departments, with each other like a well-tuned team. There isn't a person out there that doesn't understand the economic environment out there, understand the toll that it takes on the town, and understands exactly what it takes to run this. We know we all have needs and wants, right? We're trying to improve reading, math, special ed. And we know the pre-K and the K is basically the gift that keeps on coming for 18 years. So, it's, we've got a tough haul ahead of us. But I think, everybody's done a yeoman's effort of keeping down. I really appreciate everybody's efforts, and the people I work with were outstanding. Good job.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I'd love to
Go ahead,
piggyback
Kristen.
on that for my first budget season, coming into it, mid-swing. I just wanted to say thank you. I appreciated the candid conversations I had with the 3 elementary school principals, and I just think the transparency at the table with the whole team has been great. So thank you. Thank all of you.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I could, I'll repeat everything everybody said, but, I do love the fact that we get to meet with each department and really get to have a stake in that, so that when we come to the budget time, we can really explain and we understand it. And I think it's been a great teamwork over the years, and each year it's getting smoother and smoother.
Absolutely. Jerry?
I know what makes us award-winning is what we just saw. And when you look at the work that goes into it, it's just not a figure that they give us.
Right.
It's a figure they scrutinize. And that's why the students, as they go through the process, appreciate that hard work. And I think we all, sitting here, know what's involved. So I just applaud everyone, and I thank you. It's going to be a tough one, I know. But I know, keep the schools up the way we all want, and all of us are on the same page. We're going to go forward with this, and I think it's a great plan.
All right, Jeff, now you're on the hook. You're going to pass?
No, what I would say is I think we have a lot to be proud of.
Yeah.
And I think it's evident, in meeting with, although I've met with all the departments, in meeting those that I have met with, it's evident that there's a lot of pride that goes into your work and the school as a whole. And I think it shows by the amount of people that we see moving to our town. And, the school is, I would say, a very, very large part of that. So, that's all I would say.
Agree. We do need to, as we scrutinize the budget, we all recognize that there's not single elderly people buying homes in Monroe. Families are moving in, and this is going to be our dilemma, moving forward. It's not lessening by any means. So it's a challenge, and it's a lot of hard work, and thank you all. We'll have to continue working with Town Hall, First Selectman, and Board of Finance to try to keep getting that number down on behalf of the taxpayer, but also maintain our great schools. So thank you all. All in favor of the motion? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye, it's unanimous. Thank you very much.
Aye.
Oh, Shannon joined us.
I've been here, but I'm from you. Aye, yes.
Okay, we got you, Shannon. Thank you. Appreciate it. Shannon's on the phone. Okay, she is an aye as well. Okay, we shall move to new business B, approval of budget transfers with a vote anticipated. May I have a motion to approve the budget transfers as presented at tonight's meeting? Jerry, seconded by Dennis. Thank you very much. Any discussion? I think they're pretty much what they are, right? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Shannon, thank you very much as an aye. That's unanimous. Thank you very much. Moving right along, new business number C, policies, first review. Shannon, I know you're on the phone. I'll ask Sheila for a briefing on number 1 first.
Sure. The first policy is a food service charging policy. We have never had this policy before, and it's required. And it's the CAVE language that we've put in place. We've actually added to that the procedures of things that we have always done within the district. Worked with Sodexo most recently to ensure that our students with a negative balance can still get a meal. We've changed the email notifications, so I apologize to parents who get a lot. But if the balance comes down to a meal, then a notification will go out. So at the high school, if the balance comes down to $5.50, an email will go out saying that the balance is low. The child can still get the meal that day. And they can also go into the negative, but we're trying to avoid large negative balances with people. So there are emails that go out, and then if over a month's time, if the emails aren't responded to, then a phone call gets made as well to try and keep our balances down. We cannot restrict a student from having a meal if they don't bring a lunch. The meal is the full daily meal. It is not any of the extras or a la carte items. And since we've gone into the new mosaic process this year, starting in November, it seems to be much better. And we've added these different phone calls and emails to try and keep the balances better too.
Sheila, any conversation with Sodexo? I mean, if we pass this as policy, obviously they'll be compliant, but
Yes.
they're on board with this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does it have to get put into the next contract? Do you know?
Probably would make sense to. I don't know if our policies go into there.
I have to see what goes into the RFP.
I'm not sure about
Yeah, I know the contracts are state written, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's probably something in there though about we'll follow the district's policies at least. Yeah.
But Sodexo was a part of the conversation with this, especially with dealing with negative balances and students
Yeah,
getting meals
yeah.
and all of that.
Right. We want to avoid that. We know that's
Correct.
happened accidentally sometimes.
Correct.
We want to avoid that.
Correct.
That-
And
yeah.
under new leadership with Sodexo,
A student can always get the meal, right?
we are not having a problem.
Yeah, good. Good. Any questions or comments from board members for Sheila or Shannon? Shannon, anything to add onto that?
No, no.
Okay. Okay, Sheila, transfer of funds between categories?
So this policy we looked at actually because of you, Dave. You mentioned it at one of our meetings that Ron had a small amount that came up for the board for approval for a transfer, and it kind of posed the question, is there a threshold for the limit? So the policy committee looked at CAPE samples as well as some other districts, and there were varying ranges. Many of them have the $10,000 cutoff. A couple had $25,000 and $50,000 for emergency things. But the way our policy is written, an emergency would obviously go to the board, no
Mhm.
matter what the amount is. So Ron took a look at all the samples and worked with me to share this to the committee, and felt that the $10,000 was a good threshold for us.
And everything is going to be reported to us no matter what. Every transfer and everything is in Munis,
Correct.
so it's public no
Yes.
matter what.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And just to let the board know, we've been doing budget transfers, and some of them are for very small amounts. And we have very capable people here, so I made that suggestion to say, what are other districts doing? Do we really need to look at every single penny when we see the budget as part of our packets all the time anyway, and it is public, it's in Munis. It can't be moved around without us knowing, so I just think it makes sense at this point. Shannon, anything further on that?
No.
Okay. Comments or questions from board members on that?
Is the
Dennis?
town finance guy okay with this?
I'm okay with it.
How about the Board of Ed finance guy? Okay.
Switch your hat around.
So the reality is if a transfer for under 10,000 was ever done and you weren't in agreement with it, we could reverse it.
Okay.
Good point, Ron. Yeah, good point. We're not losing control, that's what he's...
Yeah, I got it.
Right. It just makes the process flow a little better. So. All right, it'll shorten our very long board meetings that we've been having lately. No, we're good? Okay, so with that's first review. It'll be on our February meeting, Joe, for a second review and a vote. All right. Anything else from board members? No, Jerry, we were at a loss
Yeah, I know.
last meeting.
Yeah. We sat here for 30
Hours.
minutes.
Motion to adjourn by Jerry. Do I have a second?
No, we got to stay.
All right, Christine is seconding the motion. Any discussion? All in favor? Thank you very much. Good night, unanimous.
Thanks, Jerry.
Wow.